Welcome to another free Microsoft Access video tutorial brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. My name is Richard Rost. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you the basics of SQL. That stands for Structured Query Language, and it's the language behind all the queries and combo boxes in your Access databases. Now, do you have to learn SQL? Absolutely not. You can build great databases in Access without ever knowing any SQL whatsoever. However, SQL is one of those things where once you learn a few little tricks, it'll make your databases much more powerful and save you a lot of time in development. Now, when you build a query, let's say query design, we'll base it on one customer table, and then I'll bring in, let's say, first name. There's the query, one field, one table, real simple. And if I run the query, there's my list of first names. Now with every query, if you click on the view box over here, you'll see SQL view. That brings up this thing. Here you can see it says select customer T dot first name from customer T. That there is an SQL statement. Every query in your database has an SQL statement behind it. Now the nice thing about Access is that you don't have to know SQL to build queries this way. But once you know how SQL works, you can do all kinds of cool stuff. Now, here's the basic SQL statement. Select fields, it can be one or more fields, from table name. And yes, it can be one or more tables, but for today's purposes, just worry about it being from one table. So if I want to see a list of all the first names in the customer table, it looks like this. Select first name from customer T. If you want multiple fields, select first name, comma, last name from customer T. If you want all the fields from the table, use the asterisk. Select star from customer T. That'll give you all the fields. Now the real power and flexibility comes when you learn about the where and order by clauses. The where clause lets you limit the set of data. For example, where state equals New York. Order by lets you sort the data. For example, order by or sort by last name. Once you know how to do this, you can change combo boxes, you can change forms, you can change the data displayed in these objects simply by changing the SQL in those objects. You don't have to build custom queries for every little thing. For example, I've got something in my database called a callback form. And the callback form is a list of all of the customers that I have to call back, my callback form. Here I've got the date, the notes, and the client. And down below here in the form footer, you can see a combo box with the client's name and company name sorted by the customer's first name. Well, what if I want to sort that by the company name? Then I got to go back and rebuild the combo box using the wizard, and it's like 15 different steps. Or if I know a little bit of SQL, I can go in and modify the combo box. So let's design view, and then open up the properties for the combo box. Right here on the data tab, you'll see something called the row source. That's an SQL statement. That's what the wizard provides for you when you build a combo box. It says select customer ID, full name, company name, from the customer combo queue. That's a special query that I set up to put the first and last name together. Order by full name. Well, if I want to switch that so it sorts by the company name, I just change that to company name. And that's all. I'm done. Since I know how to manipulate SQL, I don't have to rebuild the whole combo box. And now I can save this and then go back to form view. And notice now my combo box is now sorted by the company name. And that's just one little example of all the things you can do once you know how to work with SQL. You'll find that many of your forms as well have record sources that are SQL statements. And if not, you can set them as SQL statements instead of building queries for them all. I've had some databases with hundreds of different queries in them that clients have sent me, and really they're very similar, just one or two little different things, but for different forms, they made whole new queries. And if they knew just a little bit of SQL, they could have saved themselves a lot of database clutter. Now, if you want to learn more about SQL in Microsoft Access, pick up my Access Expert Level 3 class. This one's for 2010, but it's also valid for 2007 and 2013 as well. This class covers SQL basics, creating subforms, form footer totals, modifying embedded macros, and lots more stuff. It's an hour and a half long. You can find it on my website. Look in the description below for a link. And if you really want to learn a lot about SQL, I've got a whole seminar series on my website as well. Part 1 covers basic select queries. Part 2 is modifying data. And Part 3 is actually manipulating your table and query design using SQL, where you can actually add or delete fields to tables. There's lots of great stuff you can do in Microsoft Access once you understand SQL. And of course, as always, if you have any questions about SQL, feel free to send them to me or post them in the comments below. And of course, thanks for watching.